Incorporated really like to touch others' lives through spreading a little sunshine one pillowcase at a time. We are a group of 35 women that believe in sharing our talents and spreading them to the next generation. We work together to do this. We send our pillowcases to Pittsburgh Children's Hospital. We've branched out to many local hospitals, and we work together. When women work together, amazing things happen.
My purpose is to let my vision be world embracing rather than confined to my own self. And I look to these goals behind me to serve as my guideposts in the world. There are 17 of them: peace, security, justice, food security, health. There's so many things in here that we can work towards, and they're really never ending. So I believe that my purpose is to really look at how to be a good servant leadership, good mother, good friend, and good global citizen.
Although it may seem hard when things don't go your way,
I do it because it feels like the right thing to do, and I don't always know where it's going to take me. But what happens is, invariably, it takes me to an unexpected and wonderful place. And I simply do it because I'm following my nose. I'm getting vibes that this would be something fun and exciting to do. And then what happens is that it turns into other things. A lot of what happens is people get to know each other through me that wouldn't have known each other otherwise, because I keep networking with people and always meeting new people, and I never know why I'm going to talk to the person next to me, but invariably, as I said, something will come of it.
think about the things you go through every day, and in your heart you're home.
From villages like this, I feel that the purpose of my life is to be a role model for them and to provide them with more opportunities and ways and actually skills to overcome the challenges that they have been through, because they are females who come from unrecognized villages, from a Bedouin village, where education for girls are not that acceptable, especially for many of the tribes, where female students have to leave the tribe and go to other places.
Hope is gone, then you realize that things will get better with time.
It became a purpose because I knew how important it was to study and to learn and to change lives. The love of reading made me understand, also again from my parents also, that the more education you have, the more options you have. And you have to have options. I also think it's very important that young women take a look at and do reading and research on women who've made a difference in this world. And I'd like to see some of the women that I'm talking to become those women who sacrifice for the better, for our world, for our country, for other women. And you can only do that if you give the time and energy it takes to educate yourselves.
And you feel that all the pain you've gone through.
Becky, which brings donated computers. We load them with software and engaging educational content and get them to refugees. We've been focusing on Lebanon for the time being and a little bit in Jordan, but there are so many Syrian refugees and other refugees, Palestinian refugees in those areas that it's a vital need. This is not something I've been doing for too long. I actually started this 2 years ago because I had a calling in my life. I've been an urban planning professional for over 20 years, and I felt that I had a different purpose in life actually. And I quit my job, I left my paycheck, and I started Becky, really not knowing which way it's going to go. We're still small, but we're seeing an impact. And since doing this, I really haven't questioned. I haven't had a moment of question, even though my personal finances are suffering as a result, and I'll figure that out. But it really has tapped into my passion and purpose in a way that I absolutely didn't know when I was younger. that I would be doing this kind of thing, working in education and technology. I think I always knew that I had to do something of impact. And previously, when I was younger, I was very much guided by my mind and pushing myself as far as I could academically in work. And then tapping into the heart energy became really important to me.
You will never change. You wake up, then you will say.
Each one of us has a special design, a special purpose that only we can bring about. That we all have our own fingerprint in our purpose, even though we share the same purpose, which is why I think it's so important for young ladies to unite. Instead of fighting against one another, being jealous and catty with one another, competing with one another, to understand, just like a lioness on a plane, all the lionesses work together to achieve goals. And they understand that they do not compete against one another, but that when one exceeds and excels, they all exceed and excel. Students and come into my classroom and I tell them, you're not in my class by mistake, because I sing hope. And I don't just sing with my voice. I sing with my actions, how I respond to my fellow man, and my belief systems and the choices that I make that impact others.
Near the end of World War II, over 1 million people were left in Manchuria without any protection of Japanese soldiers nor the government, and faced Russian soldiers' violent attacks days and nights. Then made long refugee lines to Kyoto port, where the ship was waiting to carry them back to Japan. Yoko, 6 years old, was one of them, threatened by black guns and hunger. I asked myself why wars changed the human to such brutal animals, how to stop wars, and my childish mind answered, make friends in the world. Friends cannot attack friends. Simple. My family was very poor in Japan, but I enjoyed safe, daily young girl life, concealing all the awful memories of my childhood as if nothing had happened. In 1973, one of the newspaper articles caught my eyes, which was a group of Vietnam children crying and running away from soldiers' napalm bombs. One girl, Kim, was naked, and I saw Yoko on her. All my pain and fear back to me again, and realized wars are still around the world. Children are crying today. I have 3 projects now: Machinto Hiroshima for Peace, Anne Frank panel exhibition, and Gomi on Earth. I'm connecting children, students, teachers in the world by facilitating projects. At my age of 77, I can tell that my purpose in life has been and will be make friends and prevent wars through education. Every single experience, happy or harsh, shapes one's life and its purpose. In my case, an invisible bud of purpose was born out of my harsh childhood with World War II, shaped a clear image at Vietnam War, and will keep it on till I die. Thank you.
I believe that it's very important for every single teenage girl to understand her purpose, because a teenager is no longer a child, so her parents don't get to direct her dreams like they once did, and she doesn't follow the roadmap they had drawn for her before. I feel like unless the girl begins searching on her own for this life's meaning or her purpose during her teenage years, then she will feel lost for the rest of her life. When kids know their purpose, they have fewer struggles in their lives, and most importantly, they feel a sense of meaning.
And deep down inside, it's waiting for you.
Rural Russian background, I was raised with this idea that the main purpose in girl's life is to find a husband, no matter what kind of husband he is. Just it must be a husband. You are not a successful woman if you don't have one. And if you don't have children after you got your husband, you're even less successful than without him. So I quite early realized that it wasn't something that I wanted to work on. I wanted something different in my life. I wanted to live a different life. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to see different places. I want to meet people from all over. So I worked on that, and the only solution for that I could see was education. So my first purpose started with changing my life through education. I realized that I enjoyed working with students who were coming from a similar background to mine. To mine in the sense that a very poor family, some kind of a difficult family, like my father was an alcoholic and quite abusive. So I had kids from this kind of background, and so I was really helping a lot to those students, or I didn't know actually at that time that I was helping them a lot. Now, after I looked back at it, and when I still receive messages from them, I realized that I helped them.
Oh, they do come true.
Family, and I've got family members living all around the world, all across the world. Many of them have had to move because of their own experiences with war and displacement, and I think that that has really informed the way I see the world and my sense of purpose in it. I've spent decades really on the road, going from Africa to the Middle East to Europe to the Americas, you name it. I've probably been there primarily as a journalist because I see my purpose in life as somebody who tries to shed light on parts of the world that don't usually get the attention that they should, try to help people have a voice and raise awareness about their situation, what's going on with them. And at the moment, I've decided to take a little break from journalism and join the Middle East team of Doctors Without Borders. I think Doctors Without Borders is a fantastic organization, and they're doing great work in the Middle East to help people who've been victims of violence and war. And I'd like to try and do my small part to be part of the solution, part of the relief that organizations like MSF, like Doctors Without Borders, are bringing. So if there's anything I can tell you, any small piece of advice, is be true to yourself and to what you feel in your heart is your sense of purpose, why you've been put on earth, what your passions are, what your interests are. And when you do that, things will fall in place. Don't let anybody tell you that it can't happen. Don't
People say, what is it that you like to be when you grow up? And I realized that I am still growing up. And my passions change, which means to me my purpose in life changes. But through it all, I just kind of realized that regardless of what I do it with 100% effort and heart, and just make sure that whoever I'm doing it with, that we've exchanged some type of love for this passion, and we leave things better than what we found them. Go home daily and reflect, and if I've made any mistakes, I forgive myself for them, and I've made mistakes that if they affect other people, that I've apologized to them, because relationships are important.
Forget about the things that you've been.
I used to think that my purpose was very much connected to what I do and the things that I achieve. And I've learned over time that it's not quite as simple and not quite as connected to things that you do or achievements. I personally believe that my purpose in life is to be happy with myself and the people around me, to live out my passions each day, no matter what those passions are, but to take daily action on my passions and interests, and aligned with that, to make meaningful contribution to society and to the relationships in my life.
This award is not just for me. It is for those forgotten children who want education. It is for those
frightened children who want peace. It is for those voiceless children who want change. I'm here to stand up for their rights, to raise their voice. It is not time to pity them. It is not time to pity them. It is time to take action. So it becomes the last time. The last time. So it becomes the last time that we see a child deprived of education.